Welcome, brave soul. I am the forgotten storyteller. Before we begin, tap that like button if you dare, and drop a comment below telling me where in the world you're listening from. And if you make it to the end of this video, I hope to see you in the next story. I hope you're ready, because I am. Let's begin. On a quiet street in a small town that always smells like rain. Not heavy storms, not thunder or lightning, just that soft kind of rain that lingers in the air like memory-damp sidewalks, fog on windshields, and the hush of wet leaves sticking to tires as they roll by. There's a house here, a modest one with peeling white trim and a soft yellow porch light. It flickers sometimes, not out of neglect, but as if it blinks, like it's thinking. Inside, the living room is tidy, the couch pressed with the shape of someone who sat there not long ago, a mug on the table, still warm, and a phone face down, screen dark, but not sleeping. Its owner, her name is Eliza, has just come back from work. She's tired. You can feel it in her bones. The way she moves slowly through the room, kicking off shoes, rubbing the back of her neck, checking her messages without really expecting anything. Except tonight, there's something there. A new text. No name, just a number. The number she hasn't blocked. The one she can't bear to delete. Her thumb hovers. Her heart doesn't race. It just thuds, low and heavy. The message says, just 3 full stop. That's all, 3 dots. An ellipsis. She stares, and the silence in the room deepens. Even the refrigerator seems to quiet, the air stilling around her. Her ex, Jonah, died 3 months ago. A car accident. A wet road. No other vehicles. No explanation. And still every few nights he texts her. Never words. Just symbols, spaces, and pauses. At first she thought it was a cruel prank. Maybe a glitch. But the messages only come when it's raining. Only when she's alone. And only when she's thinking about him. There's a name for this. Phantom messaging. Some say it's the mind playing tricks. The grieving brain. So desperate to hold on, that it fills in the silence with static. But sometimes, Eliza wonders if it's something else. Tonight the room feels different. It was much cooler. She notices the curtains shift, though the windows are closed. And her phone buzzes again. Another message. Just a single blank space. White, empty, yet somehow heavy. She exhales, her breath clouding slightly in the air, as if the room itself is breathing with her. She types back this time. Just one word. Jonah? There's no typing bubble. No read receipt. But the room feels expectant. She puts the phone down, wraps herself in a blanket, and turns on the fireplace video on her screen. Not a real fire. Just crackling sounds and glowing light. It's enough. Outside, rain taps on the windows like fingertips. Soft and rhythmic. Like someone waiting to be let in. She dozes for a while. Not asleep, but not fully awake. And in that soft blur between dreams and waking, she hears it. Her phone buzzes once more. She doesn't open her eyes. But in her mind, she sees the message. Sees it without looking. It says, I didn't mean to leave. Eliza's eyes blink open, slow as dusk. The room hasn't changed. Still the same dim light. Still the fireplace flickering on the screen. But something feels different now, like the air has shifted. She reaches for her phone, though her fingers hesitate just above it. The phone was warm, as if someone else had been holding it. The message is still there. 4 words. I didn't mean to leave. Her breath catches. It's not like the others. This one feels real, feels written. Jonah always apologized for things. Missing calls, forgetting plans. Even for things that weren't his fault. But this wasn't just a glitch. She types slowly, her thumbs shaking. Where are you? And then nothing. No reply. Just the soft hush of rain. Now steady outside the window. A lullaby made of storm. She wraps the blanket tighter. The edges of the room seem softer now, like a dream fraying at the seams. She remembers something. A story Jonah once told her. About a woman who saw her dead husband in the mirror. Not in a reflection, but just behind her. Always almost seen. A shape in the edge of her eye. They'd laughed about it back then. Tucked beneath a blanket just like this one. His arm around her. His voice warm and low. Now the only warmth is from the glowing screen. The only arm is her own. Her phone buzzes again. She jumps, the sound too loud in the quiet. This message reads, You left the porch light on. She gasps. The light was on. She remembers turning it off. She's always careful, always. Hands shaking. She walks to the window and pulls back the curtain. The porch is empty. except for the shape of water footprints on the concrete. Just two, facing the door, and fading. She doesn't open it, not yet. Just presses her forehead to the cool glass, and closes her eyes. There's a breeze again, though the windows are sealed, and a whisper, barely heard over the rain. Sounds like her name. She turns and every shadow in the room seems to follow. Her phone buzzes. Again. But this time, the message is longer. I never wanted to stop talking to you. The road was wet. I didn't see the curve. It was over so fast, but I didn't know I was gone. Not until it got quiet. She reads it twice, then again, and again. And each time, it feels like someone breathing just behind her shoulder. She types, slowly and carefully. Why now? And she waits. The fireplace crackles on screen. The rain sings on, and her eyes flutter, tiredness tugging gently at her bones. The reply comes minutes later. Because you are now ready to listen. And then another message. Will you let me in? Her heart freezes. She doesn't move, doesn't breathe, just stares at the words. Will you let me in? Outside, the porch light flickers once, then again, then goes out, the room dims. A shadow deepens near the door, tall and very still, like someone waiting without breath. But the door doesn't knock. It doesn't need to. Jonah always knew how to wait. Eliza doesn't open the door. Not right away. She just stands there, heart barely beating, wrapped in a silence so thick, she can almost hear the dust settling. Her phone buzzes once more. It's not like before. I'm not like before. And for a moment, just a moment, she believes him. Because the house isn't cold anymore. Still, as if the space itself is holding its breath. Listening, just waiting. She takes a step closer to the door. She remembers their last conversation. A silly argument about takeout. He'd wanted Chinese. She'd insisted on pizza. She never got to say sorry. She whispers now, voice barely a breath. Jonah, I miss you. The rain outside begins to soften. Not stop, just hush. The kind of rain that listens. Her hand hovers over the doorknob. She imagines him on the other side. Not solid, not whole, but there, waiting in the in-between. And she realizes, this isn't about letting him in. It's about letting him go. She places her hand flat against the door, closes her eyes. I love you, she says, gentle as sleep. But I can't open the door, then pauses and takes a breath. Then the buzz, the final message. Thank you. The porch light flickers once more, then glows steady. When she looks again, the footprints are gone, and the rain is only rain. Her phone falls still. No more buzzes, no more blank spaces, only silence. Soft and peaceful, now complete. She curls back into the couch, pulling the blanket close, listening to the hush of water on glass. The house no longer feels empty, just feels quiet. And in that quiet, sleep comes gently, like a voice from far away whispering, you can rest now. You can rest. Let us know in the comments, would you have done what Eliza done and not open the door? Or would you open the door to a loved one who had passed away? Time for the next story. Guys, if you liked that last story, please don't forget to leave a like. Thank you. Our story tonight begins in a small, quiet house at the edge of a cul-de-sac, where the windows glow dim gold after sundown, and the shadows are long and soft. The nursery is upstairs, painted pale gray with a crescent moon mobile, turning slowly above the crib. It turns even when the windows are closed, even when there's no breeze. The mother, her name is Claire, is rocking gently in an old armchair, faded and creaky, a relic from her own childhood. She holds her baby close, little fingers curled like tiny seashells, breathing shallow and fast in the way newborns do. Safe and warm, fast asleep. Claire hums softly, not a full song, just a tune she doesn't quite remember learning. Comes out on its own, the way lullabies sometimes do, ancient and gentle, a melody made of sleep. On the table nearby is a baby monitor, small, white and quiet. It's turned off. She's certain of it. The light is red, indicating that it's in standby mode. Still, as she shifts in the chair, Claire hears something from the speaker. A whisper, very faint, so soft she might have imagined it. She leans in. The screen is black, the power light steady. But there it is again, just under the surface. A low hum, a tune familiar. The same lullaby. Not her voice, not quite. She listens, the way you listen to distant thunder, half afraid it's coming closer. The sound fades. She checks the settings, the monitor's still off. Just silence now. And the mobile above the crib turns once more. as if someone had breathed on it. Later that night, Claire lies in bed, the monitor beside her still off. She hasn't turned it on in days. Not since the baby began sleeping through the night. But she wakes, suddenly at 3:14 a.m., to the sound of singing. Soft melodic, just above a whisper, coming from the monitor speaker. This time the tune is different. It was old-fashioned. Something you might hear on a scratched record. Echoey and too slow. She picks it up, checks the switch. Still off. The room is cold. She pulls the blanket tighter. Steps into the hallway, down the short stretch of carpet toward the nursery. Her breath is visible. Just slightly. A fog in the dark. The baby is sleeping peacefully and not a sound. But the monitor crackles again. Now at her side. A new sound, not singing. Just a breath. Then she hears these words, "Your baby is safe now." A voice not hers. She looks toward the crib. It was empty. Her heart jumps, but then she sees it. The baby's still there, safe and still sleeping. But the monitor? Still off. And still, humming low like the deep vibration of something vast. Something watching. Claire doesn't know it yet, but infrasound, a frequency humans can't consciously hear, can cause dizziness and nausea, and the sensation of being watched. And sometimes, if you listen long enough, you might start to see shadows, where there were none. Claire doesn't sleep for the rest of the night. She stays in the rocking chair beside the crib, the monitor in her lap, her fingers curled tightly around it. Not because it's on, not because she trusts it, but because it feels like something to hold. A tether or a signal, even if the signal is wrong. At sunrise, everything seems normal. The light is warm, the air still. Birdsong replaces the whisper, and the baby coos softly, kicking her tiny feet beneath a cloud print blanket. Claire tells herself she imagined it. Sleep deprivation or hormones, it could even be loneliness. Still, she removes the batteries from the monitor, tucks the speaker into the bottom drawer, beneath swaddles and socks. She hums the same lullaby again that afternoon, rocking her baby to sleep. But it feels different now. The tune twists at the end. A sour note, like someone else is humming in the same room just a beat behind. That night, the sound returns. Even with the batteries gone. The monitor is silent, she made sure. But the tune and the whispers, now they're in the walls. Like an old music box behind the plaster. Playing just loud enough to keep her from sleeping. It always begins around 3 a.m. Never earlier. Never later. And always that same whisper. Your baby is safe now. As if someone is standing beside the crib, trying to comfort something that isn't crying. Claire records it, plays it back the next morning. Nothing, just a lot of static. The audio cuts out at 3:13 exactly. But the feeling lingers, that low ache in her chest, the sensation of being watched, not from the door, but from inside the room. She looks up in forums, sleep studies, paranormal theories, infrasound. She reads about it in the hush between feeding bottles and naps. 19 hertz. That's the frequency. Too low to hear, but felt in the gut, in the bones. It causes unease, it triggers dread. It's been blamed for ghost sightings, hallucinations, shadows moving at the edge of vision. Some animals can hear it. Maybe babies can too. That night, the monitor sings again. No power or no signal. Just lullabies spilling out of an empty speaker. And when Claire stands in the nursery doorway, she hears breathing. 2 sets. One tiny. One too deep. Not the baby. Not hers. Something else. Hiding beneath the hum. She doesn't scream. She just steps back and waits for the song to end. In the days that follow, the feeling of not being alone grows stronger. The baby starts waking at 3:14 every morning, wide-eyed, but not crying. Just looking. Toward the closet, always the closet. Claire opens it each time. And it's empty. But once it was just once. The mobile above the crib starts spinning on its own very fast. As if blown by a strong breath she cannot feel. She tries to bless the room with candles and salt. She even plays soft classical music on loop. Nothing helps. Until she starts humming the lullaby herself. Not to soothe the baby, but to keep something else calm, and it works. For a while. One night, as a storm rolls in, the power flickers. The baby is quiet and fast asleep. Claire sits beside the crib, rocking softly and humming. And then, the closet door creaks open. Not all the way, just enough. Just a crack. Dark as the space behind your own eyelids. And through it, the lullaby returns. Not from the monitor. Not from her lips. From inside the closet. The same melody, but slower and wrong. Not sung to a baby, but sung by one. A voice, soft and wet, like breath through milk-soaked fabric. Claire doesn't run. she does something stranger. She steps forward, leans in, and whispers, "What do you want?" No reply, but the mobile stops spinning. The air warms, and the closet door shuts, all on its own. The next morning, there's a new item in the crib. Not a toy, not a bottle. A baby sock, old and stained. Too small for her daughter. Not hers, but placed gently, folded, like a thank you. Claire holds the tiny sock in both hands. It's faded thin. Not knit from modern fibers, but something rougher. It could be wool or some other animal skin maybe, and it was stitched by hand. She turns it over slowly, examining the tiny initials sewn inside the cuff. JT. She doesn't know why, but the sight of it makes her eyes sting. She places the sock on the windowsill, not as a decoration, as an offering. That night the song doesn't play. The monitor stays silent. No static, no hum. Only the sound of rain tapping softly on the glass, like small fingers asking to be remembered. Claire dreams, but it doesn't feel like a dream. She's standing in the nursery, but it's different. The walls are darker. The crib is iron, and the mobile above is handmade. Wooden stars, painted moons, fluttering from strings that sway with no breeze. A baby cries, but it isn't hers. And from the shadows, a figure steps forward. Not frightening, not monstrous, just very sad. A woman in old clothes, her eyes hollow with time. She lifts the sock from the sill, holds it to her chest, and whispers, "Thank you." When Claire wakes, the sock is gone. The monitor never sings again. But some nights, just before sleep takes her, she hums the lullaby anyway. Not for her daughter, but for the one who still listens, somewhere deep behind the walls. She doesn't feel watched anymore. She feels accompanied. The mobile turns gently, and sleep comes soft and whole. Let us know in the comments if you would have still kept the baby monitor after the first time you heard a voice coming through it, even when you knew the power was off.
Ready for spine-chilling tales that will haunt your thoughts? Subscribe to Forgotten Storyteller for eerie narrations, unsettling mysteries, and haunting stories you won't forget. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a story, because some stories refuse to stay buried. Join us, if you dare.